Simon. Hi, Rob.
Jody.
Jody, how are you?
This season has finished.
Hurrah.
How's it feel?
Tired, mate. I can speak on behalf of both of us. I think it's been a long season, successful season, but like anything, players as well, everyone's a little bit tired. The fatigue sets in, so we can sit back now and have a look at the season gone past, but I think both of us are tired.
Yeah, I can reiterate that. Yeah, we had a big night, obviously Saturday night, but Monday, yeah, so I'm glad it's over. I need some time to regroup, and I think it's also been 3 tough years because we've had the COVID, the extended seasons, and so you didn't get that break in the off season. So we're really looking forward to a good 3 months, hopefully, if we can get all the other stuff that we need to settle down before we can really genuinely pack it away and have a holiday. If we can get that all settled down quickly, we can have a proper off-season to recover.
I'll ask you, Simon, what was probably one of your most memorable moments in the season?
I think, obviously, winning the title at Olympic was a highlight. When we spoke before the game, we made it very clear that no one's going to give us anything. We have to go and take it. If we want to win this, we have to go and take it. Not too many, that opportunity to win it at one of our closest rivals, that doesn't come around often. So for us to go out and make the most of that opportunity. So, from a collective, that was certainly a highlight. I would also suggest that there was moments throughout the season where sitting on the bench, there was some magnificent moments, just beautiful moments where as a fan as well, I was able to sit back and watch the boys put in some good performances. So for me, that was a highlight when, at the start of the season, and Rob will be the same, you have a bit of a vision on how they're going to go about their business. So certainly for me, a highlight was to sit back and just watch that unfold. But yeah, that individual performance as well. There was some really, really good performances. I know Fletcher's gone overseas. Fletcher McDonald was with us for a few years, and he found his feet this year. He scored a fantastic goal at Moreton Bay. But that was a catalyst for a lot of hard work by himself. So, and he wasn't alone. There was other individuals as well that it was fun to sit back and watch them develop.
I remember Fletcher's goal. It was a cracker. I think it was this high all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
You've obviously got a lot more highlights. What perhaps stands out most for you?
You talk about obviously winning the treble 2 years in a row. I think that's just it's not unprecedented, but it's an extremely hard thing to do in any 1 year. But to do it in 2 years has been a fantastic achievement for the group. In terms of games, I go right back to our first 45 minutes against Olympic here. It was just, like a shock and awe start to the season, which just completely overwhelmed a team that I thought was going to be one of the challengers. And even though Danny got sent off, I think it was in the 38th minute, we still dominated in the second half with 10 players and scored another 2. I thought that was a great performance. I really enjoyed our second half against Capalaba here at home because it was just so overwhelmingly dominant against a team that has quality players, and it was the style of football we put on, which was sustained pressure when we were making great decisions about when to go forward and when to recycle and find those great moments to score. Individuals like Sami, I'm really delighted for Zara Kruger, and for what her achievements, being called into the junior Matildas, and now she's away on camp with the young Matildas. It's very difficult for players to do that outside the dedicated system, and I think she's excelling, and I'm very proud of what she's achieved.
Probably a harder one for you,
okay,
because of the successes. Yeah. But any regrettable moments of the year?
Oh, obviously, yeah. The draw against QAS, it's both regrettable, but also something that you can take some pride from as well. We would have loved to have that completely perfect season where we've won every game. It was something that we did talk about a little bit because I, as a coach, I've been coaching a long time, have one season where we've done that, the perfect season. But it's something that's really hard to do, and to be so close and to drop those points, it was kind of disappointing. on the plus side, we won the league that night. But also on the plus side was, you know, I never felt, even though we left it very late, that we were going to lose that game. And I felt that that showed like that we have that depth of character, you know, because often we lead a lot of the time and things are comfortable, and you wonder how it's going to go when we're uncomfortable, when we really need to find something from within to get what needs to be done. And I feel if the game had gone a few minutes longer, we would have won it. It was, in the end, it was a good performance against a very good team that played a very intelligent game, and I thought, even though we didn't get the perfect season out of it, there was positives in that game as well.
Simon, maybe a few more past for you?
Why do you say that? There's no regrets, actually. I mean, there's moments where I felt we could have done better in games, but in regards to regrets, no, none from me. We, you know, I trust the players implicitly out there to go out there and make their own decisions, because, you know, at training we just give them ideas and some solutions potentially, but ultimately they've got to go out there and make those decisions, and I always back them in. So as far as, you know, would I have liked to have seen players make better decisions? You know, of course, you know, that's...
I'll probably refer back to the very first game, Gold Coast Knights. Yeah. What went through your mind after that game? Because that's obviously very early in the season, and probably was a little bit of a shock to most.
Yeah, it was. I think to concede so many goals so quickly in half an hour, I think, you know, we were leading up to about the 60th minute, I think. So to concede that many goals in a short amount of time was jarring to everyone. But it was on the back of a pre-season where we weren't entirely, I suppose, challenged to an extent. I think the enthusiasm was there. I wouldn't say it came easy to us, but you know, we can look back now on that game and it was pivotal for us, because I think we went 6 weeks, maybe more, after that, on a nice sort of unbeaten run there. So yeah, listen, I think it was a mixture of a team that found a bit of groove when they needed to, and also us being a new squad, probably lacking that leadership to step up and, you know, and respond in the way we should have responded. But again, no regrets there. It was a powerful learning experience. I'm glad it happened then, because it was probably the making that built a bit of resilience straight away, because we had to. That next game back, we had to quickly, because it was power. And I think Matt Rydenton scored in the last minute from a free kick from memory. So I could have gone as much as everyone wanted that. I'm sure that they wanted us to implode. I knew that with the squad that we had, that was, you know, a one-off, and it proved to be.
Both teams had a wealth of experience inside. Matt Rydenton, Louis Fenton, obviously Marielle, having come from ALeague, Cannon as well. What's it like having those players in your squads?
Look, I think good senior players are good models for younger players. That's the benefit of them. And it's almost hard to put your finger on it or point to specific moments, but you know, I think older players have that experience and that quality in big moments that can get you results. Even though your younger players can be super talented, you just need a few older heads around that to get that happening. But having said that, you know, there was a period in our season where Chelsea was with the Matildas, Isha wasn't playing with her back, Marielle was in Brazil, and Cannon was in the US, but we played 5, won 5, scored 30, conceded 1. So they bring something, but you know, our younger players are quality too.
Yeah, I think you certainly see it on the pitch on game day as well, where they'll manage things out there. You know, as from the sideline, you can see what needs to be to be fixed, but you'll notice quite quickly that the experienced players will solve that problem without having to intervene too much. So that's, you know, always beneficial, absolutely. But it's also in the training, the day-to-day, you know, the way they approach every session, the way they manage other players within that session, you know, encourage and find ways to bring out the best in them as well. And it's always nice when you've got that quality, you know, just every now and then, just to pull something out of the hat, even at training, just to remind everyone of the quality that we're working with. Because, you know, Rob and I can talk till we're blue in the face. Players look at more experienced players because they recognise quality and they want to aspire to be like them. So having them as role models has been fantastic for us.
Do you find certainly the younger players in that try and rise to the challenge a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. It's a respect thing, isn't it? You know, if someone's not pulling their weight at training and I can have a go, they'll roll their eyes potentially and, you know, okay, but if it comes from someone they respect, you can guarantee that for the next 15, 20 minutes, that guy will be running, you know, through brick walls because he doesn't want to, you know, appear disrespectful to that. So
it's the power of having a leadership team that is respected, that can drive those things, because you know, peer approval is far more powerful than that from the coach. You know, we had the pleasure of having that joint session with the boys this year, and I was just so impressed with the way Joe and Sean just ran that thing. You know, the transitions between activities, that they drove that, they got things happening so quickly, and the way they held each other accountable in that squad, so that it was fantastic to watch.
Probably a harder question, because it's always hard to perhaps single someone out, but Simon, who for you in the squad really perhaps was a real standout, perhaps somebody you maybe didn't expect to become such a standout?
Yeah, you're right, that is hard, and it's probably unfair for you to ask that, but you know, we had a relatively new squad. You know, we've had, you know, the likes of Tommy, Sean, Joe, Shep stick with us for the last few years, which has been fantastic. I think Joe certainly stepped up in that role this year for us. You know, he's always trying to get forward, and, you know, he prides himself on his Golden Boot award that he received a couple of seasons ago. But the fact of the matter is, you know, when I moved him there, I needed a player who would just take control of games and dictate the pace, link with our back line, and be able to find players ahead of the ball and organise. So Joe's been magnificent for us this year in that central role. You know, his defensive job has come on leaps and bounds as well, being able to actually make a tackle. You know, for a long time there, you know, he was enthusiastic, but the technique and winning the ball and retaining possession for us was something he needed to work on. But again, that side of his game has come on leaps and bounds. So, you know, it's dangerous, yes, singling a player out. Jackson Hart-Phillips was brilliant on the left, quietly went about his business. I'm expecting big things from him again next season, but he was fantastic when he came, you know, for his first year here with us. He was brilliant. Him and Huss worked well together. So I've named 3, so I've got out of it. There you go.
Well, you know, again, I'll probably name everybody because we do pride ourselves on being a squad, so we make sure everyone is playing as often as possible. I mean, it's not equal time, it's still, you know, performance based, but we want to be a squad where everybody can, everyone's fit, ready to play, and when they have to play, they do play, and that's been the case. But there are, I think, people that did have exceptional years. You know, I think Tegan Riding's probably had a best year for us. It's not just the, you know, I mean, her game is developed, her understanding of the role, but she's Golden Boot, but she would have more assists than she does goals herself. So she's excellent in that way. But then there's also players like Maddie Teakle, who I think, you know, came from nowhere to have a sensational year, and, you know, being recognised now outside the club in terms of going away with the NTC squad this week or next week, I think it is. And also, you know, Zara and I think Tara in midfield. Tara in particular is just a very unheraldable player, but gets through a mountain of work, and yeah, you know, she's wonderful. And of course Marielle, who is a game changer. She's a championship winner. Yeah, she gets. It's
very easy to look at who scores the goals. Yeah. That's probably what everyone sees. But
another one is Ellie Chappell. You know, who's come also from nowhere.
He said one, mate.
I know.
He's listed everyone.
I can't.
I can't either. But you.
Yeah. There's still more to come. Just give me 5 minutes. No, but like I said at the beginning, I think everyone's been a major contributor, but there's some people that have had exceptional years, yeah. And I think I've listed them all.
Not the manager, assistant coach.
Yeah.
Tougher question, and obviously not trying to give too much away, but how are things looking for preparations towards next season and perhaps player retention?
Okay, well, I think it's never easy. You know, we try and have things done before the end of the season as much as possible, but you end up spending 2 months on the last few. That's what it's been the last few years, but it's complicated for us now. You know, the way women's football has been organised is you've got your NPL, it finishes, and then a month later the A-League starts, and maybe there's a couple of weeks overlap where we give the players a rest, but there's now 4 months, maybe 4.5 months overlap, and that's what it is this year. Next year it's going to be even more. I think we are starting to move into the same structure as the boys, where there is NPL and there is A-League, and you don't play in both. So for us, you know, we've got a lot of players that are going to the A-League, and so it's going to be just not viable to re-sign them all. So I guess it's a bit of a rebuild for us, but it's an opportunity to revitalise the squad. Bring in a few younger players and develop the next 5 years, I guess. And but in terms of who isn't going to A-League, I think we've got pretty much everybody signed back, and you know, we're down to probably the last 4 or 5 as usual.
Simon?
Yeah, I think we've got a couple more spots to fill. We're in the very similar boat in regards to being headhunted. You know, it's one of the drawbacks of success, I would suggest, that teams come knocking. You know, the allure of Melbourne for some also has impacted us, has done for the last couple of years. But yeah, but in regards to next season, we've kept the bulk of the squad. Absolutely, you know, it was important. The leadership group were magnificent this year, of, you know, Shawnee, Joe and Tommy. So we made sure that we secured those boys, because they're Lions people, Lions players, and everyone wants to play with them because they drive everything. So it was important we got those guys signed up, and everything seems to be falling back into place, which is fantastic. So I don't want to change too much, because it's successful. We'll have to tweak things. We'll have to have a look at who we're up against again next season. There's some new faces in the coaching fraternity, which is fantastic. That means new challenges for us as a club and a squad. So we'll make sure that we take that into consideration. But as far as personnel, yeah, we've lost a couple. Obviously, Alex has gone down to Melbourne, which he goes with our best wishes. We're really excited for him. Zach Maltby's going to follow him down there as well, by the looks of it as well. So that's great. It's, you know, it's they feel as though they've won everything they need to up here, and it's time for a fresh challenge. So we wish them all the best in that regard. So
from our perspective, it's something we're proud of as well. We want our players to go to the A-League. So you know, we just want to see if we can provide the best environment for them and just be part of the journey. And if they get there, and then it's our success as well. So we're just happy for that to happen.
Slightly different question, Simon. Obviously, Sydney United are in the Australia Cup final. Great for the game to see an NPL side in such a competition in the final.
It is. I think the structure this year has kept things fresh and interesting. It was always, you know, years gone by, it was always, okay, we'll get towards the end of the season and then the big boys come in, and we'll just accommodate and they'll take over from here. But no, I think it's been brilliant. I think I'm looking forward to it. I think hopefully they put on a good show and keep MacArthur honest, which I'm sure they will. They're a proud club with a rich history. So I think any format, any structure that allows community clubs and NPL clubs to mix it, then I think it's great. It's great for the game.
Rob, Women's World Cup next year. As much as it may have a little bit of an impact on the season, perhaps, but looking forward to it.
Of course I am. Yeah, it'd be wonderful, and I know that we're going to have teams training here, and we hope we might be able to get along and see how international teams prepare. But it's going to be a big thing for women's football. I know everyone's anticipating a surge in participation, and I know that as a club we're preparing for that. But yeah, to have a senior World Cup in Australia, I don't think it's dawned on people just how significant that's going to be, and I'm going to be at every game I can be.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time, gentlemen. I know I appreciate it. Obviously it's the end of the season, so thanks for coming down and doing a little season review, and we look forward to seeing you next year.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Looking forward to it, Juddy.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.